Good day to you. This is Kadal Amudam from Chennai, India. I am continuing to read this book, Deadly Medicine and Organized Crime: How Big Pharma Has Corrupted Healthcare. In 2012, Roche was reprimanded by EMA for failing to report up to 80,000 possible adverse reactions from drugs, including 15,161 deaths in the United States. Regulators identified additional deficiencies related to the evaluation and reporting to national drug agencies of suspected adverse reactions in 23,000 other patients and 600 participants in clinical trials. Life jackets on boats are good to have, as they may save your life. They won't kill you. Drugs are not like that. Taking a statin may reduce your risk of dying from heart disease, but it will also increase your risk of dying from some other causes. Not much, but one of the statins, Serivastatin, Baycol, was taken off the market after a patient had died because of muscle damage and renal failure. One reason why the chemical names, which are invented by the drug companies, are so foolish is that doctors are then forced to use the trade name and therefore less likely to prescribe a cheaper generic when the drug comes off patent. Warnings are fake fixes. It is impossible for clinicians to know what they need to know about drugs to prescribe them safely, and it is therefore not surprising that doctors make many medical errors. The fundamental problem is that regulators think about drugs one by one and don't care that doctors cannot possibly know all the warnings about the drug they use. What matters to regulators is not our fault. We did warn you, didn't we? Vanessa was a healthy girl. She didn't drink or smoke or take drugs, with one exception. Over the past years, she had periodically taken cisapride, an acid reflux drug marketed as Prepulsid. Her doctor, who is diagnosed her with a minor form of bulimia, prescribed it after she complained of reflux and feeling bloated after meals. Neither the doctor or pharmacist mentioned the risk. On 19 March 2000, her father watched his 15-year-old daughter collapse on the floor at home. She was rushed to hospital, where she had died a day later. The cause: cardiac arrest. 5 months later, the drug was withdrawn from the market, but it was too late for Vanessa. Deadly slimming pills. The history of the slimming pills is a dire one that confirms that drug regulators aren't willing to learn from history. Phentermine was approved in the United States in 1959 and is still on the market, although it is similar to amphetamine, both chemically and in its effect. In the 1960s, another appetite suppressant with amphetamine effects, aminoxafine, was very popular in Europe, but it causes pulmonary hypertension and was withdrawn after 7 years when hundreds of patients had died under terrible conditions. The risk of taking a new drug is greater than the risk of using an old one, as it takes time before the harms of new drugs become known. As an example, the COX-2 inhibitor, Lumiracoxib, was approved by the EMA in 2006 and withdrawn a year later because of serious liver problems including death. It was never approved by the FDA. NSAIDs are very dangerous. Even before the COX-2 inhibitors, we caused death on a terrible scale with the NSAIDs. It has been estimated that 3,700 deaths occur each year in the United Kingdom due to peptic ulcer complications in NSAID users, corresponding to about 20,000 deaths each year in the United States. In agreement with this, It was estimated in 1999 that more than 16,000 Americans died from the stomach ulcer caused by the NSAIDs, roughly the same number as those who died from AIDS. This makes NSAIDs one of the most deadly drugs groups. The tragedy is that many of these people could have had a good life without NSAIDs, but marketing has lured doctors into using NSAIDs for virtually every kind of pain, assisted by prostituted rheumatologists. Let me conclude this video with this point. Kindly subscribe to the channel so that you can view more videos of this nature. This is Kadal Lamudam from Chennai, India, signing off. Good day to you.